You talking to me?
Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast?
Then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me?
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like a clown and into.
I'm Peter Binkman.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Man that doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man.
Damn!
I'm kind of a big deal.
First rule of Fight Club is do not talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, baby!
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Hello and welcome to Frame by Frame. I am Stephen Radford, and next to me is
Andy Lewin.
And this is a chance for us to not just talk about films, but to talk about filmmaking as well, or anything that's to do with the films that we love and the films that we're kind of interested in. And,
yeah. We've just recently watched The Babadook.
Oh, we didn't just watch it.
Wow.
We lived it, man.
Oh man, did we?
And
But before we discuss the film,
yes.
what really intrigued us was we saw the trailer.
Yes.
Because I was so impressed by not just the way the trailer's put together, but the feel that it gave me.
Where'd you get this?
On the shelf.
If it's in a word or it's in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook. A rumbling sound, then 3 sharp knocks.
Ba-ba-ba-duk-duk-duk.
That's when you'll know he's around. You'll see him if you look. Nothing bad's gonna happen, Sam.
Did you think that about my dad before he died?
He sees things as they are, that one.
I promised to protect you if you promised to protect me.
Oh my God. Did he hurt anyone?
The boy has significant behavioral problems.
This monster thing has got to stop, all right? It's just a book. It can't hurt you.
You all right?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
You don't have to be fine, you know.
Just a bit stressed at the moment.
All children see monsters.
Not like this. I want to report someone stalking me and my child.
You can't get rid of the Babadook.
You can bring me the boy. You can bring me the boy. You can bring me the boy.
What do you want? You're trespassing in my house!
I'm sick, Sam. I need help. It isn't real. It isn't real. It isn't real.
I did notice there was a big difference between the US release trailer and the UK release trailer. The UK release trailer starts off with, and spoilers, with the book arriving on the doorstep.
Right. So that's, quite halfway through the film.
Yeah, which kind of, in a way, they kind of cheated the UK audience to think that it's a book that just arrived on the doorstep from the very beginning, from the get-go.
Right.
It was just slightly different, although they kind of use the same tropes as the US trailer, but just that one significant thing kind of...
So that's the main difference?
Yeah, the main difference.
Okay.
And I was just quite surprised at that, because I thought, well, why... I don't like it when a trailer kind of makes you think that something happens in a specific way, but then when you watch the film, it doesn't happen in that way. I think that
because
that's very unusual.
They didn't need to... Whoever put the trailer together, and I don't know if it was the director herself who...
That would have been a distributor.
Do you think...
That would have been
Sometimes the directors do the trailers, otherwise sometimes they just go to a company that do that specifically, don't they?
For some reason, either because of the length of it, they had to make it shorter for the UK.
There's no reason to do that.
I know,
the
not
film
anymore.
Doesn't need that.
Not anymore. They don't even need to change the titles anymore, like they used to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But nowadays, there is no need to have so many different variations. It just so happens that the US trailer is exactly the same as the one in Italy, just with an Italian dub. That's it. Right. So that's exactly the same.
Well, one thing I think that's interesting, because I was so impressed with the trailer, it's almost wired into my DNA now to think the film is going to be a complete letdown now.
Yeah,
that's how I felt, and this is why I thought it's important to talk about this, because I was blown away by the film. That's one of the best horror films I've seen in a long, long time.
It's so the trailer doesn't give you everything.
No, God,
but
no, it doesn't.
Certainly gives a lot. But it drip feeds it to you. It doesn't slam you with everything, and doesn't use every single scare in the whole 2 hours. It doesn't extract everything that's a scare and throw it into this kind of a big machine of thrill-seeking mess that all these other trailers seem to give you.
Yeah, it just does the film justice, because watching the film, it's not that kind of what we're so used to now in horror. Is that other people have said this, so it's not my words, but the horror films that come out now are not horror films for people who are fans of horror.
No.
They're just people who want to go there and go, oh, it's quiet. Oh no, that scared me. Quiet.
It's the haunted house. It's the haunted house popcorn thriller.
This is just a film that, if you let it, it just gets in you. It gets in under your skin.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what it's all about. The tingles up the spine moments. The subversion of I know what you expect is going to happen because you've just been drip fed rubbish for the past so long, and that's not what happens.
No.
What you think's going to happen doesn't happen.
Do you know why? Because it's centered around the characters so much more. It follows them in their natural lives. There's humor in it that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
I mean, the bingo calling and the just all these little things that happen in it that are just building tension that have nothing to do with the Babadook. It's to do with the relationship with the mother and the son.
Absolutely. And because it twists halfway through, but for the first, I'd say, third of the movie, she's terrified of her own son, and that's a hard, awful thing to portray.
It really opens up the whole idea of domestic abuse, mental abuse, that kind of thing. How easily there are moments where you think she's gonna strike him.
Yeah.
There's a moment where she's gonna lose it and she's going to harm him more so because she is that scared of him, and there is this little telling moment, and it's all in the mannerisms. You know, when the doctor starts prescribing the drug that will help him sleep.
Yeah,
there's a moment of relief in her eyes.
Yeah.
You're so with her in that. It's like this moment you're going to be. I can't believe it. Tonight I'm going to be able to sleep for the first time, and I just can't wait to get these drugs down my kid.
Because that's so wrong.
It's so wrong, but at that time you just think, good on you.
Yeah.
What?
You'll probably think differently of that when your kid turns up, but yeah.
Exactly,
for me, because I was watching out thinking, oh, God, that's an awful thing to do.
But this happens. I mean, if you think about it...
It's a human thing to do.
It's a human thing to do because, when you really have absolutely no way out, and then we'll...
I think in some respects that happened here.
That kind of thing.
They're so open now, doctors, to put ADHD, put a label to a child and prescribe them drugs. It's so easy to do now, instead of just deal with the actual problem.
Yes.
Just to drug the kid up and get rid of the problem.
Exactly. But the other thing about this film is that you really get the real sense of how everybody else is reacting to her. I mean, the woman, as soon as she actually asks for help, she tells her the truth and asks for help. The woman says, "I'm sorry, I just haven't got time for you today.
Yeah,
I've just got to go."
They don't care. People saying, your husband died 7 years ago, get over it.
Yeah, everything is so real and to the point, and it makes you think, it's so relatable, the reality. It's such a real script. I can't believe
It's
how
fantastic. It's so good.
it's phenomenal.
It is. And we talked about all the human aspects of it,
Yeah.
but going to the supernatural
Oh
aspects
yeah,
of the film.
there's that.
That book.
Oh,
What kind
yeah.
of twisted genius came up with that book?
It was very. Was it Commode who said, Mark Commode, who actually likened the book to the darker side of Tim Burton. You know, it's the melancholy death of Oyster Boy and those really dark, unmarketable images that were in his head that he never actually was. You know, the Babadook is probably his wet dream.
Yeah.
It would be totally. You know, how he didn't think of this one first, I don't know, but I'm glad he didn't, because imagine Johnny Depp being the guy who arrives with flowers and then taking over the film.
They need to stop that. So yeah, those two need to be split up.
Split up
now.
You go over there. You go over there.
Yeah.
Don't talk to him, and you just get on with making films, and you just find another pretty French girl, and
yeah. What's happened to Depp? Bless him.
I don't know. He's okay. He's Depp.
I know he's got a French villa to pay for, I guess, you know.
And child support.
Child support.
Damn it. But anyway, that's off book. But imagine if it was a Tim Burton film. Imagine if it was anybody but is it Jennifer?
It's the director Jennifer Kent.
Yes, who she
first film.
And
she did a short before this called Monster.
Yes, now that short was in black and white, 10 minutes long, pretty much the same story, just shot in a very different way. The kid was very high energy and
slightly different story in the respect that when the monster shows itself, she knows it.
Yeah.
She just screams and sends it back to its room.
Yeah,
which is a great twist. That's a great little.
Never seen that before.
No,
It's like go back to your room, and then at the end she gives it milk.
Yeah,
it's like
it's brilliant.
It becomes docile and domesticated monster, which is kind of the twist on any story because nobody ever expects that.
No,
which I thought it was quite clever.
It was, and it's in the story. Going back to the actual Babadook, you can never get rid of the Babadook. It says that. So instead of getting rid of it,
they live with it.
They live with it. Oh,
exactly.
That's great. I've never. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, every single film has to have a resolution, and I was really glad that the third act of that film of Babadook doesn't go into the usual place where all the other films go, like Insidious, when he starts to go into that whole dream thing, and it starts to become like Nightmare on Elm Street in a way.
Yeah, well, with Insidious, it was more like Poltergeist for me. Where
yeah.
They have to go to their realm to
go into the realm and pull them
up
back.
until that, Insidious got some quite good shocks.
Really
the little
yeah.
behind the, when it's behind the shoulder little thing that I weren't expecting. And I was like, wow,
But then now that Babadook has happened, if you look at films like Insidious, they did nothing with the character development in those films.
No.
None of these films have character development. This one does. It's 100% raw, and it's award-nominated perfection when it comes to the character.
Yeah, well, you were saying that earlier about the actress Essie Davis.
Essie Davis, yeah.
She's fantastic. Oh,
she's done a lot of
brilliant.
She's done a lot of Australian television. She is quite a veteran. But she reminded me a little bit of Close Encounters, the woman with the little boy. A little bit of her in there.
Yeah, that's an interesting comparison.
Almost
absolutely
as if Steven Spielberg, they get so far with the character development and then they just stop. They don't want to go any further. But this film just kept on developing them all the way through, would not leave the characters alone.
No.
And that's the way it should be. I think that's what's missing in a lot of these films. But then again, if every film was like The Babadook, then...
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be such a profound movie now, would it?
It wouldn't be impressive.
Well, because obviously this film actually really had an effect on me that evening after watching the film. I actually had a nightmare with The Babadook in it. That's not happened to me for a long, long time. Probably since I watched The Exorcist in the cinema when it was re-released. Because I'd seen it before, but seeing it in the cinema affected me again,
Yeah.
And I was just like there. I just sort of turned over and looked in the doorway leading to where the bathroom is. And the Babadook was there. And then I just woke up again and I was thinking, God, this film has really got under my skin.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
That's the whole point. The whole point of a movie like this. It's got to stay with you.
And really, you do see the Babadook, but you don't really see it. It's never like a true reveal, is it?
Well, you know what he looks like because he's in the book.
Yeah.
But you don't. The kid explains it. You know, he doesn't show himself. He'll scare you first, and then, you know, yeah.
And the bond she has between her son in it, because obviously as the film progresses, it goes from her being scared of her son to her son being terrified of her. Because the Babadook sort of gets inside of her, doesn't it? And,
which is exactly what
but he does not leave her side. He does not waver. You know, he's committed to staying with his mum, which I don't know. I found that incredibly touching, and you know, because of the son, she gets it out of her. You know, in that quite graphic, throwing up all that kind of blood moment. You know, and so good. So when she's drugged, the kid's been drugged and has fallen, you know, fast asleep now. That's when the supernatural element really flips. Then that's where it takes over, because previous to that, the book scared her. She doesn't like the book, so she's ripped the book up and thrown it away. It's after that deep sleep, isn't it, where she comes round and there's those knocks on the door. She goes to the door, there's no one there. Then there's knocks on the door again. She goes in the book's there, and there's been pieced back together.
Yeah, it's only when he's asleep that she really starts to experience everything. But there's something odd about the transition state of her emotion, because the director really focused in on her every moment. That it's almost as if there are no transitions, there are no cuts with this woman's life. Even when she's sleeping, they transition through from night to day.
Yeah.
In a kind of like it's almost as if they never cut away from her. She's always at the centre. The boy is not. She is at the centre of that movie. And
in fact, is she in every frame of that movie?
Pretty much, apart from when the kid is interacting with the children, there's not a single moment is left without putting. I mean, a transition of going from night to day could have easily have just been go to sleep, wake up, it's daytime. But instead, she just time lapsed the whole thing in this kind of elegant thing that felt like it felt. I mean, even that felt freaky in itself.
Yeah.
And that's just using every single moment that she had to and pulling something out of it rather than just letting it go as nothing. Transitions can often be quite a thankless thing. We just need to go from there to there.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, but it's a lazy way of getting from one point to another.
Yeah, just a cut. But no. She said every single transition is important. Every single sleep that she had, the fact that she can actually have a sleep. The moment that he was drugged, she just slowly, elegantly went into the bed.
That's a great shot. We've all felt that when you're exhausted and you feel like the bed, you just slow motion right into bed and you go to sleep.
She came down and she was happy.
Yeah.
For the first time in the whole film because her son is asleep. It is wrong, but it is so right in that moment. You kind of feel relieved for her.
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about this film, and I think that it's something that will be a classic.
Yeah.
I hope they don't make a sequel.
They will. If they will. If it makes enough money, it'll be Babadook 2.
Babadook 2, it'll be a different.
Or do you think?
Oh no.
America will remake it?
Of course, because it's Australian. Or do a prequel origin story of who wrote the book. Someone's bound to do that.
Yeah. Because I know it's number 10 this week, which it's not massive, it's not popular, but it's in the top 10 in the UK. So that's something. A little indie film coming from Australia is in the top 10 in the UK. That's something. It's not going to go to number 1.
Think about Blair Witch. I was more terrified when they lost the map because of the reaction that the girl had to the guy who was nagging her about that map, and the look in her eyes that when she was seeing blood, she was seeing blue murder.
Yeah.
You just felt the tension from the acting, from the performances. The supernatural doesn't add to that.
Yeah, again, and in some respects, that was the brilliance of the Blair Witch and the way they shot it.
Yeah,
because they were sort of in that situation, weren't they? The people the directors of that film were like getting them lost and terrifying them at night time. So it's a real emotion. Like what she's having there is real. It's caught on camera. It's real. The directors got those performances because they were actually in that.
Because they really believed it.
Yeah, they were in that. But with this, the directors got the performance out of her actors.
Yeah.
Just by directing them.
Exactly. So
they're not in that, they're just acting.
Where was the exposition in this film?
Yeah, where was Morgan Freeman?
Where was Morgan Freeman? But there was no.
Yeah, there wasn't. There was no exposition man in this.
Nothing. I guess it was a very simple story. They didn't really need to explain it. But there was no. Where did the book come from? There was no. They didn't go into that. They just dealt with what it was there and then. It didn't matter. It was just there.
Yeah.
We all accepted it as being there, that it existed. Why was it on his shelf already?
Exactly, because she'd never seen the book before. Where'd you get this from? Oh, it was just on my shelf. Done with. Move on.
Morgan Freeman would have come on. Well, you see that there was that moment in time when...
exactly, yeah.
When the book was brought to life by the seed that was planted in the basement. So there you go. I mean, that was Babadook, and I think that... I think it's probably going to be a long time before we watch something that's good.
Yeah, this is what worries me slightly. Where I've been reading a few comments saying that they were bored watching this film.
No.
Yeah.
Bored.
And I mean, this is what scares me, because they're so used to the endless rubbish that's been shoved in the face now, of all that. It's quiet, bang, it's quiet, bang.
But then there's hardly any music in this film. I mean, there is underscore, but there's...
It's more ambience.
And they're
like
bored.
if Halloween came out now, people wouldn't watch it. People think it would be boring. And it's not. It's all about the atmosphere. It's all about the situation that these characters are in. There's no way out. They can't get out of the hell that they're in, and it's just getting worse and worse.
But how... Okay, let's try and get into the mind of somebody who would go to see Babadook. They're sitting there, they're bored. Why are they bored? Because nothing's bouncing around.
Yeah,
the room.
nothing's jumped out of them yet. I don't want to think. I don't want to go watch a film and think. I want to go watch a film. The film will do all the thinking for me. That seems to be why people. I just can't get into the mindset of someone going in to watch this film and not immediately being just in the story. Yeah, absolutely.
Are these the same people who think that EastEnders is exciting? I don't know. I think we need a demographic. I mean, are the people who are the people who actually say it's boring?
If you're one of the people that have watched the Babadook and found it boring, please write in and explain yourself.
Yeah, tell me what your list of top 10 movies are. Is I'll be curious. I want to see what that list is, and top 10 TV shows, because it's a telling sign. I think it really is a telling sign that there's so much stuff that has to be bouncing around the walls, that have to be explaining things, repeating things over and over again. And I'm sorry, but calm down, people. Relax. Look at the film for what it is and go into it. Don't let it... They're saying the same thing about the games, such as the most amazing games that have been out in the last 10 years. The Last of Us, which is an apocalyptic zombie game, which is more cinematic than it is gameplay. It's more getting into following the characters around and letting them explore more than actually running around and going crazy.
Right.
Same with Alien Isolation. Nobody has a gun in that, and the whole premise of the game is to survive, not being killed by an alien. And a lot of it's just someone has said that a lot of the game is just them trying to open unlock doors, trying to get from one room to another.
Right. Okay.
Put yourself in the reality of the situation. That is exactly what you probably be doing. So get yourself into that, get into the atmosphere. It's about going into a dark room and there not being anything there. But you just have to wonder, is it?
Yeah, it's the people though who like if you use Halloween as the example, it's the people who don't like the 1978 Halloween but love the Rob Zombie version of Halloween. Because the brilliance of Halloween, and I don't want to harp on about it, it is one of my favourite films, is there's no reason. He's evil. He just wants to murder. There's no reasoning behind it.
You don't need an origin story.
Yeah, he's just evil and he wants to kill. There you go. Get on with it. That to me is more terrifying than what Rob Zombie does. Is giving this whole backstory of he was beaten by his father was his arsehole who beat him, and his mum was a junkie, and he's come from this horrible life. And
it's the Jeremy Kyle story, because everybody can relate to an episode of Jeremy Kyle. So they put that into that movie because they have to kind of relate to that idea of him being just like a normal family.
Well, those people are wrong, and we are right.
Yes. People are not comfortable with experiencing the raw depth of emotion that comes across as an unexpressed thought.
Right.
People want things to be said, spoken, loudly, expressed, communicated. When a film is basically to them, the film is struggling because it's not communicating to them. Every chance that this woman has in the film to communicate her problem is being ignored and is being led back to a sense of reality that people are uncomfortable with, because they want people to kind of get flighty and get into the supernatural straight away.
Again, then, it's just a testament to her as a director to be able to have complete control over her own film
without worrying about
people saying, "Oh no, you should be explaining where this book's come from. Why has this happened? Why can't you get rid of it? Why explain? No.
Where did the book come from? Who wrote the book? Can we see him? We want to see the author of the book."
Yeah, some crazy guy who puts the hex on a book. I don't know, but you
they
don't need it. You don't
could've-
need it. Michael Bay does Babadook.
Michael Bay Babadook. That would be insane.
The masturbation scene would probably still be in it though.
Yes, but it would have a guy there watching her.
Yeah.
It'll be Paul Reiser, who's a window cleaner, or Matthew Lawrence, who's just there to fix something. Who sees it? You know, they basically would add stuff that would be pointless, that would have nothing to do with the actual plot.
Well, anyway, going back to it, the reason obviously we actually spent money and went watching this film is because we were impressed by the trailer.
Yeah.
Now this led me to think films that you went to see because the trailer was so fantastic, and then the film was a complete disappointment.
Yeah, now...
Think about that. The first one that sprang to my mind straight away was the 1998 Godzilla.
Right, yeah, was that the teaser trailer with the guy who was fishing?
Yeah. You know, he was like fishing, and and then this big wave starts to form. And then he's had to run away, and the pier that he's on is getting smashed off, and this thing's coming up, and then you just boom, size does matter, and then you just see this eye in front of those other two fishermen just open, it goes off, and I thought, I need to see that film.
Yes,
that is fantastic, and the film's rubbish.
Yeah, because look at that film to see what let it down. They had to have a crazy reporter who had to be in the centre of every single scene, and then you've got all these other extra characters in there who were just simply faces and names to make the film go.
Yeah,
and of course little dinosaurs.
Oh, it was just Jurassic Park.
Little dinosaurs.
Central Park. It was not Central Park. Where was it?
Central Park. Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Jurassic Park. Where did they end up? Madison Square Garden's where they ended up, wasn't it?
Oh yes, yeah, Madison Square Park.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Oh, it was a massive misstep because they were on. It was Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, weren't they? There was this partnership that couldn't fail. They thought they'd Stargate.
Yeah,
I enjoy Stargate. Independence Day is a guilty pleasure for me. I think it's still. I know it's a bit popcorn-tastic, but
it is. But do you know what? That is shamelessly. It doesn't try to be anything more or less.
No, it doesn't. No. Okay, so going off these films, yeah. What's something that's definitely close to your heart? The Prometheus, the trailer to the film.
Trailer to the film. The trailer was
the trailer reeked of Alien, didn't it?
Yeah, because
You know, because it had the same thing. Yeah, the words very slowly. Yeah, and it builds tension and.
Yeah, it had to do the same because that's what everybody who's a fan of the original, they could get away with that for the trailer, but they still need to have that in the movie. They didn't sell that in the movie. I mean, I can't get over Prometheus because of the typical get a group of people together. I mean, we can talk about the Alien films as a whole series of unqualified idiots brought together on a mission of highest importance, just get slaughtered.
Yeah, I think the Alien films are something we should discuss in another podcast. Definitely,
because that is a big
but exclusively thinking of the Prometheus trailer and how excited I was from seeing that.
Yeah,
to being disappointed after watching the film.
Yeah, I just really think that it tried too hard to please everybody, and yeah.
Okay, do you want another one?
Go on, throw me another one.
Okay.
You got a list?
Yeah, I did.
Is that a list over there? He's got a list.
I prepared. Okay,
prepared.
this is pretty. This is an obvious one, really, but Star Wars Episode 1.
The trailer was good.
It was.
The trailer was really good.
Do you remember being how excited you were when you saw Darth Maul when he did that and then the dual lay?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember thinking that was going to be so good.
Yeah.
Instead of watching a film about trade dealerships.
Trade dealerships. I learnt a lot. Do you know what? Now I can actually go onto the open market and I know what I'm talking about.
I understand politics because of Episode 1.
Yeah, because I don't consider myself a Jedi by religion. I call myself Trade Federation by name. Yeah, I'm a trader. Exactly. And well, it's a lot better than being a construction worker on the Death Star. But Episode 1 was.
The film is dreadful, absolutely dreadful. But the trailer
when
was
you
quite
watched
exciting.
When you watched it the first time, before the whole culture of hating Star Wars Episode 1, was it as bad as it was until if you watched it now with this whole planetary hatred of a film and a culture that is just destroyed it? Would you look at it differently now than you would do if you'd have watched it without the internet, without
when I watched it going into it cold when I first watched it.
Yeah,
I was lucky enough to do that. The internet wasn't as massive as it is now back then. Like, because how long was it? About 15 years ago.
1997, I think.
Right,
roughly.
I remember because when I was so excited, obviously, and there was no feeling in the world of what coming on the screen. It just comes out a long time in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah,
nothing else can give you that feeling.
It hits you,
and you're like, oh, I'm going to watch a Star Wars film. It's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm by no means a massive Star Wars fan. I enjoy them, but I was when I was younger. You grow up and you find better films, don't you? But
yes.
I remember just walking out of it, just thinking, oh, apart from the fight at the end, that was just boring.
Boring.
It was boring and.
Because of walking and talking and
the kid was so annoying in it.
I didn't find the kid annoying actually in the film.
I did. Like the end when oh God, I hate Lucas. When when he's got I'm not sure, he gets in a spaceship at the end, doesn't it? And he's like, oh, what does this button do? Boom! Oh, and he's killing all the bad guys that are trying to get at him by accident and stuff. I remember just watching it through, the whole.
Face palm.
Through grip fingers just over my eyes and just thinking this is
not because you're scared, but because you're just disappointed. But
very, very disappointed.
But Jar Jar Binks was the obvious character that really ruined the whole of the film, because you knew going out of that film that he was just annoying son of a bitch that they didn't need to have. It was and. No, but we don't need the internet to tell you that anymore. No. Please, internet, calm down. We get it. It's like M. Night Shyamalan. We get it. You don't like him. You don't like his movies. You don't care about what he brings out, even though it's probably true.
It's just such a shame with him because he has such promise. I know we're going off topic now, but
yeah.
Sixth Sense was a great. I enjoyed that.
We're still on topic. We're completely on topic because it's about it's also about the trailers. I mean, if you looked at the trailer for Lady in the Water,
Lady in the Lake, is it? Or Lady in the
Lake,
Water?
Lady in the Water. You see, even the title doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, it's just the trailer itself was quite a disappointing trailer because it really didn't it sold you the idea of a woman living in somebody's pool, and that there was a magical.
Listen. That's how interested I am in that film.
There's a woman living in a pool. Can you hear time clicking by? And it's funny because I didn't watch the trailer until the other day. I watched it again because I was looking up the Shyamalan phenomenon, and I was thinking about what was the trailer, and all I could remember was that moment. But if you look at the trailer again, there's so much more going on. But you walk out of that trailer thinking only one thing. It's a story about a woman who comes out of the water.
Yeah.
And that's it. The title itself tells you exactly what's going to happen. And unfortunately, that was the first time I actually saw a trailer for a film that I just thought I don't want to watch it.
Right.
The trailer put me off watching the film.
I never really watched. I don't remember watching the trailer. I remember watching the film and just being kind of meh about it.
Meh.
It was kind of. I didn't hate it. I didn't really feel anything. Lady in the Water ambivalence, which is not really. You can't put that on the advertising of the film, can you?
Not really ambivalence.
Yeah, this film gave me ambivalence.
Like, it created a new emotion that was led dormant until this moment in time. Yeah.
So, here's another film then.
Okay, is this on your list?
Yeah, Superman Returns.
Again, I saw the trailer, and I think by that time I was so bored. I am actually quite bored and fed up of superhero movies, so I just couldn't be bothered.
Really?
Yeah.
Because to me, the trailer was quite atmospheric, and you had Brando on it, and it was good to hear him again. And I kind of thought I was in there. I was like, yeah, this is going to be good. I'm going to enjoy this.
But didn't you kind of think, well, haven't we been here before? Isn't this just
because I'm not the same as you. I really like superhero films, so I was quite excited. I'm not. I'm more of a Marvel than a DC fan.
I was excited more. I've always been excited by Batman. Not the actual. Shall I rephrase that? Batman excites me.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, that's almost like me and cats in CACA 3. But the Batman films have always been consistently dark, and I think that I enjoy that because Batman is a flawed character. He's a wonderfully dark, flawed character, and they haven't really misstepped with him. Well, Batman and Robin, sorry, yes.
Yeah. Who's your favourite Batman?
It's still Tim Burton.
Yeah, Keaton for me.
Sorry.
I know what you meant.
Oh my God, Tim Burton's take on Batman was...
that's my favourite.
To me, it kept with the comic style of it, the comic book style of it, whereas The Dark Knight is still good, still strong.
They're great, but why when he gets the outfit on he has to talk like Barry White? I just can't get get past that. I can't get past that.
Yeah, exactly.
Great films. They are great films, but...
Yeah. I mean, they're enjoyable, they're entertaining thrill rides. But when I start to look at all the other superheroes, especially Spider-Man, I mean, Spider-Man bores the hell out of me. I really can't... I mean... I was out before they...
Yeah, they never quite got Spider-Man right. Spider-Man 2 I enjoyed. I thought it was a really good film, but they've never quite got him right.
No, but I just don't see... I can't understand how they can make... I mean, the only way they can do it is to make him dark and to get some sort of edginess behind him. But they can't do that because it's inherently not correct for Spider-Man. They've got it all right. They've got the films right, even the remakes right, because that is all there is to do with it. There's nothing you can't take him out of that box. And in a way, Batman has so many different layers that you could peel down to because he is more of a mysterious, more guarded person. Yet, the whole Spider-Man thing is that he's just young and just too willing to please. Everyone all the time, and it gets a little bit too annoying to
Yeah.
watch that again. And it's like, oh, Spider-Man. Okay, I've never appreciated Spider-Man on any level, I'm afraid.
Really?
Yeah, superhero wise. Green Goblin, I didn't even bother with that. What was it? Green Lantern. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Green Lantern.
No, Green Goblin.
Green Goblin. It's Spider-Man, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah. But,
Yeah, I agree. That's universally panned, hasn't it? Apparently it's terrible. They're going to bring it back, though, I think, 2018.
yeah,
I
but
think 2019 is going to be another Green Lantern film.
yeah, and I think that it's just simply, to me, superhero films just they all kind of come across, and I mean, they are all formulaic in the same sense that they are a person who has some sort of a power or gains a power, and inherently decides to design a costume because that's the only thing they can really do is wear a costume and then fight crime. That to me, it's just.
Well, yeah, but I don't. No, I like it. Especially the Marvel. I'm really into the Marvel universe at the minute.
Is that the Shield, the Marvel Agents of Shield, that kind of thing, or the
Well, that's
Avengers
the TV series, isn't it? But yeah, all the Avengers and stuff. I love it.
X-Men.
Yeah, I'm into X-Men.
X-Men's different though. To me, I don't see that as being they have a certain skill and then they have a costume.
Yeah, they're mutants.
They're mutants.
And there's a great little political thing there, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. But then Marvel are going to go into that. They're doing the Civil War storyline. That's going to go in after the next Avengers film. Have you seen the trailer for Avengers Age of Ultron?
No, I haven't.
Looks fantastic. But yeah, what happens is because of the events of this, there's all these people popping up with all these superpowers now. So the government's saying anyone who's got a power need to come forward and tell us who you are and you've got a power.
Get an ID.
And Captain America is dead against that, but Iron Man is dead for it. So now them two fight each other. There's a big civil war, which I'm really looking forward to.
See, that is interesting because then at least they're
you need
actually
to get
going
into it.
I think it's okay, and I'm just
don't give me okay. It's fantastic.
I'm not a.
Come on, Jim. Recently, I've gone straight back to Iron Man 1 and watched them all in sequential order.
Did it get better?
It's great because all the characters that pop up later on, they're all at the beginning. They've committed to the storyline, and the way they've done it is fantastic.
You just don't notice it when you're actually watching them one-on-one.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just so good the way they've done it, and now it's getting darker, and the shit's going to hit the fan now. I'm loving it, and all the the tech that Tony Stark has created with the Iron Man costume, and in Iron Man 3 he has drones. That obviously don't need people in it. That technology becomes self-aware, so he's the one who's created the bad guy who's going to be in Age of Ultron. Right. I think that's a great little idea. Yeah. That's great.
And I do like the idea of the world kind of just all working together in separate films and then coming together as one. They do that. They've done that on purpose though. There must be some sort of a schematic that they're working from. A framework, most likely from the comic books that sell.
Yeah, I think they've obviously taking storylines out of the comics and appropriating it for this. But they didn't know it was going to work, did they? They must have had a rough idea how they're going to go, and now these films are the most popular films in the world now.
It seems to be that if they are working in that way and they are getting everything right, that they've actually got the consistent people working on it. So they're not leaving the project and having somebody else come in, playing around with it, and then throwing it in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and I think that part of they're picking directors that you wouldn't have really thought to, like using Joss Whedon for the Avengers film. I think was a gamble because he's never really, up until that point, he'd never really had many really successful films out. Serenity didn't do well, even though it's incredible, and he's just been more of a TV thing. All the nerds love him, obviously, but then he's made the third biggest grossing film of all time with Avengers, and now he's doing Avengers: Age of Ultron. And then they used James Gunn to do Guardians of the Galaxy, which you haven't watched and you need to watch because it's just fantastic. It's just a space opera. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
anything I want in a film like that. It was like someone said. That weird guy who come from Wigan, he lives in Manchester now, that Andy guy. Let's make a film just for him.
Yeah, and they've done
Guardians of the Galaxy came out. It was brilliant. We'll discuss that once Stephen's watched it.
Maybe I need to actually go on a vision quest to basically go through every single one of me. I mean, I did watch the Captain America film, and I did enjoy that.
The first one.
The one where he's a little weedy man and then grows into a big puffy man. And I did enjoy that. I did get that. And
that was actually the science
nice
behind the character. He turns into a big puffy man.
Cause, yeah, that's what Stark said. Yeah, push this button, make him
It's what it
puffy.
said on the button. Puffy button.
But I thought that was really clever, and I did enjoy that. But I think it's because it's the type of film that I'm not naturally drawn to. I'm more into the more grim art house kind of film. I'm very
so am I. There's something very art house about a lot of these films.
Maybe I'm missing the point.
Yeah, you will. Just
I'm missing
you
the
are,
point.
yeah, because I know you very well, and these are films that I know you should love. They are like you said, like the reason that in the first one he makes an Iron Man costume is because have you seen the first Iron Man?
Yes,
he gets captured and forced to build weapons, his own weapons to send back over. Because then there's all this, his. God, I can't think now, but obviously his CEO has been selling arms to these Far East groups behind his back, and he gets captured and he has to think of a way to get out of it. And then the reason why he sort of builds this suit is to help.
But the thing about Iron Man, I mean, does he have a real heart in the beginning, and does he? Because whatever that thing
that's keeping shrapnel from going into his heart and killing him.
Right. Okay. And that
it's an arc reactor.
Is that there in the beginning?
No. He has to build that to basically save himself when he's been captured. There you go.
So that's it. That actually happens in there.
Yeah, and
that all happens there.
Tony Stark is an incredibly flawed character. He's
great. But that's why I kind of think that Spider-Man is just a knob in a stupid suit. The guy gets bitten by a spider, and then all of a sudden he thinks, "Hey, I can crawl around like a spider. I need a suit."
Let's write our own comic. Let's call it Spider-Man. A knob in a suit.
Well, he is. If you compare him to Stark, who's been captured by terrorists and is being forced to literally create a device that will keep his heart going, you put him next to Spider-Man, and you tell me who's the bigger man, who is the one who's actually.
I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
Totally with you, yeah.
So I can't invest myself in such a kind of a pointless character.
Was it the first Thor film? I didn't really like when I first watched it. I've rewatched it again now. It's really good.
Is that a part of the Marvel thing?
Yeah, because Thor's in it. Have you not seen Avengers? Oh my god!
Is that the one with Diana Rigg?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Steed.
And Steed. Yeah. No.
Yeah, Eddie Izzard was in that, wasn't he? He played one of the villains. Anyway, we're going off. But watch it. I'm telling you, because.
I will have
the brilliance of Joss Whedon's scripts, especially in that, and the things you love most is subversive scripts, isn't it?
It is.
And everything about it is subversive. You see something, it's a cliche. I've seen that. Oh no, it's not going to do that. It's full of that.
When I've got a chance, hopefully in the near future, I will get a list of all these movies, and I'll just run them through. You could even be here if you needed to be, just to kind of guide me through in case I get lost in them.
Yeah.
But we'll watch them all, and then we'll do a podcast, and then we'll see how my opinion has shifted.
I think that's a good point to finish this one, I think.
Yeah. So there is a mission ahead. It might not be the next podcast. It might be.
No, we don't know what we'll talk about in the next one, but we'll figure something out.
So the Babadook, go watch it.
It's fantastic, unbelievably brilliant.
And please, we need to end this podcast, because if we go on, we're going to start talking about it again, and it's just, I'm just happy. I'm just happy. I'm just happy.
Liquid storage bags. You will never get caught short again, thanks to liquid storage bags.
Here you get 8. That's right, 8 bags in which you can store your very own liquid items.
Bag on sold separately, liquid not included.
The attractive cardboard box is easy to open.
With each wonderfully transparent, durable, and easily accessible.
Ready to go! That's right, when you've got to go, liquid storage bags are there for you.
Liquid storage bags?
That's right!
Liquid storage bags!
They're sleek, sturdy, and stylish. And what's more, you can write all the information you need right there on the bag, where the space is provided.
Warning, do not write on liquid storage bags.
Liquid storage bags cannot be found in any store, by phone, or online.
So you know that liquid storage bags are the product for you.
And only you.
What's it called?
Liquid storage bags.
Ah, yeah! Liquid storage bags.